Hello, Jumbo, Salam Alaikum, and Namaste, and welcome to Ammi Jaan's kitchen. Today we are going to make Ganthiya. Ganthiya is an Indian snack. My niece again, Monia, reminded me, it's those chickpea things that grandma used to make, she said. And my mom was an amazing cook. I didn't learn very much from her, unfortunately, but I think subconsciously I must have been watching her. I was too lazy as a child to pick up anything. But here we are. So let's start with making Ganthiya. And what Ganthiya is, it's a crispy Indian snack. They're kind of like noodles. And that's the best way to describe them. Until you actually see them is the only way to really understand them. This is chickpea flour. We have oil. We have salt. We have chili. Looks like a lot of chili. But like we were saying with the pasta video too, whenever you're frying something, you really need to overspice it to feel that taste. Turmeric, and this is Carom seeds, Ajwain. They are beautiful. We've got water, we've got mashed potato, just maybe a couple of tablespoons there, mashed up really, really smooth and cold. And then here we have got some fangled stuff to show you how to make this stuff. Traditionally, we have the equipment for it, but most of you probably don't have that equipment at home, so I'm trying to think ahead and see what you could use instead. So we'll have to do that and try. I'll do obviously with the traditional stuff, and I'll let you do the trying out with the other stuff. Worst case scenario, if it's something you really enjoy and you would like, it's a small investment, probably $20 at Fruticanna. So maybe you could check it out. So let's start by getting the ingredients ready. The idea is to mix all the ingredients in with the spices and the potato and make a dough of it with the water. And the paste or the dough should not be too runny or not too thick. It should be nice enough to sort of come through the mill. And this is literally a mill. I don't know if it is brass. Years ago back home, yes, Mom had a brass one. I'm not sure if this is. So it comes with multiple blades, but today we are going to use this blade. And it's like a spaghetti blade, you can tell. And honestly, the best way to describe it is noodles. So I'm going to drop the blade in there. That's the first thing we'll do just to get it ready. And then I sort of figured out a way to keep it where the dough doesn't stick to the insides too much, is I give it a spray with pan. So there we're going to start. There's our flour. And another cup. And I'm just going to make sure, they do prefer, some of them say you should sieve it, so it's up to you. I can't imagine or remember what we used to do, and especially if I'm going to put mashed potato in there, I don't think sieving is that important. Now this one you can see is so soft, right? So I'm going to put all that in there. And this is the part where I almost might have to get my hands in. Before I put any more liquid in there, I want that potato to sort of blend right into the flour. So that's what I'm going to do. Just smooth it up around. You know, kind of like you do the oatmeal crumb mixture when you're making shortbread to get the butter to mix up. Well, this is just getting the mashed potato to blend into the flour so it's not in lumps. You want the potato all amalgamated into the flour. So we'll do that. Seems to be doing okay. I can feel those a little bit of you know, like a crunchy feel to that. So giving it like a grainy feel, that's the word. Grainy feel. It's hard to get words sometimes. Especially when you've got 5 languages rattling in your head. Okay, there we have it. Now, we're gonna leave that. There's our turmeric. This is the only time I'm using quite a bit of turmeric because we really need to get that nice taste happening. Carom seeds. Chili, get this out of the way, salt, and then the oil will come in a bit. Let's first mix all this up. Okay, and now the oil, kind of like chapati dough, you know, you want that oil kind of mixed up again all the way in. There, and now we're going to add the water as we need it. Remember, it's a paste, so not too little by little, enough right away so it can get that little grain thing happening. Look at that. Oh, it's lovely. There, that's not far from the consistency we want, actually. That's pretty good. First shot. So, and then scoop and smush it around a bit. Smush it around. I don't know if I want to add a tad, just a tad there. Okay, and let's give this another squish and mush it around. Now remember, I don't know, some of you might not be comfortable frying, but this is a fried snack. And when something like this has got water in it, and when you're doing that stuff over the hot oil, remember, obviously the water in there is going to start and burn and evaporate right away. So you will have a lot of steam coming up to you. So if you're not comfortable frying, maybe this is not the thing for you to do. Maybe ask somebody you know who is more comfortable to do the frying part. Okay, so there we are. The paste is ready, and we will be back with our next step. And we'll try and scoop that into this little container. I'll get my hands cleaned up in a minute. Spray the container, and we'll do the next step. We're going to put the dough into the mill and then process it. But in the meantime, I've turned the fat on, or the oil, on a medium heat for now. You want it nice and hot so it can fry up nice and crispy. So this is the little mill. We've talked about the blade, and I'm just going to sort of shake up the little pan. So this is amazing invention, isn't it? A little bit of that just to coat it. And then I also do the bottom blade a little bit. There. And then the idea is, as best as one can, it's going to be tricky, is to scoop this in here. There's one scoop. This has been nicely sprayed, as you can see. So it will kind of help to push all the batter down, and then just hold on to this if you have this sort of thing at home. Otherwise, like I said, I'm trying to give you options. I'm not sure how they will work, but this is of course the best way of doing it. And then and there, nice and tight. We won't lift it off the floor. Obviously some of it, due to pressure and gravity, is already coming down. Now this is the kind of thing I was thinking you might be able to use. Something like this over the hot oil is a little bit more challenging than my idea of my machine or mill, obviously. But you would do something like, I can visualize my mom actually doing this, but she had a much bigger one, and it would actually sit over the frying pan, and then she would use her hands and sort of do this with the palm of her hand. But I don't think you want to do that. You might be easier to do this with like a spatula right over the heat. Or I was thinking, I'm sure everybody has a colander. Maybe try that, you know, put a couple of dollops in there, and then away you go, squishing it. So like I said, these are ideas. I haven't tried them out. And my niece was saying maybe she would use a ricer, a potato ricer. So there's something else to think about. So we'll wait for the oil to heat up, and we're going to take it to the third step. So here's our step. We've got this hole filled up like we did with you there, and now we've waited until the oil is nice and hot. The idea is, if you get this mill, it's going to take a little minute to come down, but is to swirl while you put it in. So swirl, swirl, swirl. And remember that water I was saying that's going to come out of it. And then go back to the outer rim a little bit, and then stop. There. I don't like it where you overlayer it, because then the center becomes soggy. I love it when it's separate, and then that way it becomes nice and crispy. And a couple of suggestions to have these is in lettuce wraps, or as a salad topper. And of course for us, traditionally, the only way we have it with is a cup of tea as a snack. So we're going to let it cook a little bit. Try not to rush it, because right now, just to give you an idea, if you were to touch it, it's very soft and pliable. So you want to wait till all the water in it evaporates, and then that's where the steam's coming up, as you can see. And then the bottom will start to get crispy. And then we flip it over if you can. It's ideal to flip it in one whole web, but That's neither here nor there. We're all going to break it up in order to eat it anyway. So I never fuss with the little stuff like that. That doesn't matter. It's the taste that matters. So now let's just give it a little bit of a shove on this end and that end. Now you can see it's one unit. It's all moving as one unit, but still quite soft. So I'm going to leave it in there a little bit longer. And you can see a little bit of our red chilies in there. And you can't really see the other flavors. The yellow is obviously the color and the turmeric. And then I also got myself one of these. Maybe that would help us sort of flip the whole thing. You can see it's just about ready, but not quite. So we'll wait a little bit longer. You'll have to gauge that. Oops, I think I got a little blob right out here. If you fill that mill up, you should get a couple at least, and then you stop the whole process and then go and refill it again. But spraying the inside with Pam really helps to keep it nice and clear. So let's try and flip this. We could, if you want to try and get that whole shape thing happening, maybe do it as a together thing. There, it's like a, there, isn't that lovely? It's just like a plate. And make sure you cook the other side just as crispy. And everybody loves this. Once you start, they are so addicting. It's impossible to stop. And you could do this on a weekend and put it in an airtight container and have them all week. Like we said, for a snack, a salad topper, with a cup of tea. And Emma suggested, I like that, in lettuce wrap. That would give you that little crunch that you normally get from noodles. But those are raw noodles, and I don't like that idea. I think this would be better. So I think we're almost getting there. You can see the bubbling of the oil has stopped. Or it's just starting to stop. And another way too is, you know, unless you're really, really nervous, but grab a little piece like that. Let's put it to the side for a minute. And I'm going to try, not that I need to do it one more time, but let's do it one more time. There, you can, I don't know if you can actually see the color happening. We are going to go back to this trial piece of ours and snap it. Nice and crunchy. So that's definitely ready. If when you try it and it's a little bit soft in the center, leave it a little bit longer. That water has to entirely evaporate from it. And I think this one is definitely ready. So we're going to go ahead and get this. Again, like I said, if you're nervous about frying, please make sure you ask somebody else to do this, or I'm not sure. But there, just hold it on the end for a minute and then transfer them to a dish. Go back and get all the little bits that might be left behind. There we are. And there we have it. Our Ganthiya, nice and crispy. You got a nice long piece. You can break it. Very crunchy. And if you are a typical Indian like we are, nice cup of tea. And you've got it. Thank you very much for joining me in Ammi Jaan's kitchen today. And please like and subscribe, and thank you very much. Have a good day.
रस्ते पे